Thanks to the Corona fabric material, the era of super complex fabric materials is over. This new material offers incredible performance and truly photorealistic results. Let's see how it works. We're going to create a fabric material from scratch and then apply it to the object. We can immediately see the pattern that appears on the object, which should already have a correct mapping. You'll notice its interface is different from a conventional Corona physical material. One of the first things that stand out is the fabric patterns. On the Chaos documentation page, you can see all the different types in one place. As you can see, there's a wide variety of fabric types and weave patterns that will help us achieve great realism. These textures must be in grayscale to be properly recognized by the Corona fabric material. From this drop-down menu, you'll find the different textures type available for this material. Generally, the assigned size works well, but if you need to adjust it, you can simply use the scale value, where the U and V values will scale proportionally. This is where it's important to have your reference at hand to know the exact size your fabric should have. Here, we're just going to experiment a bit. We can change the weave pattern again and explore other options. Now switch back to default mode to explore the key parameters. We'll review some of the most important functions of the material because, as you'll see in the interface, it can be as simple or complex as you want. For this video, we'll keep it simple and straight to the point. One of the first things we'll probably try is adjusting the diffuse color. To do this, we can adjust the color slots under yarn appearance, both the weft color and the warp color, which are simply the strands running horizontally and vertically respectively. Even though the texture controls the overall appearance, the material is capable of identifying the direction of the strands at the surface, opening the possibility of adding visual richness by assigning different colors. From the same section, we can also set the amount of translucency the material has. By increasing the refraction value, we can use the scattering slot to control how much light penetrates the surface. It's also possible to add an additional layer of complexity to simulate fabric softness using the sheen parameter, along with the amount and the roughness, which will stand out more when working with the darker fabric colors. Once we are satisfied with the general appearance, we can also add much more detail to the strands of our fabric. From the yarn strands section, you can modify the thickness of the strands in both the vertical and horizontal directions. This will affect the gaps between the weave, and it can be changed how the texture appears when there are large differences between these values. If we go to extremes and lower the value significantly, you'll see we begin to get a kind of mesh, since the gaps become larger than the fabric itself. The amplitude and thickness values are related to parallax effect, which is responsible for giving the material visual depth. So first we need to increase the quality to properly appreciate the change we make to amplitude and thickness. These parameters control the curvature and the height of the strands of the surface. Keep in mind that this parallax effect should only be used under special circumstances, such as close-up shots for example, since it slows down Corona's rendering performance. Distortion will add a bit of chaos to the surface, making it less perfect. And in the piles and the fiber section, we can add micro details to the weave. These micro details can be also adjusted by changing the value of the strength and twisting to get nuances in the texture. Just keep in mind the distance from the camera to evaluate whether this may help or not to your image. Another great advantage of working with this material is that, on top of everything else, we have the ability to use custom maps for many parameters. Let's use the most obvious and practical example we might use in our day-to-day work, applying a custom textures for the pattern. We can apply a previously downloaded texture that we need to convert to monochrome. In this case, I used a Corona color correct with saturation set to -1 to make them grayscale. As you can see, these textures now indicate where the horizontal strands go and where the vertical ones go, creating a new result. It can be grayscale texture like this one, and you can adjust the scale until you find a result you like. Let's try another texture just for fun and confirm the versatility of this material. Or simply apply an absolute black and white textures to create masks. Finally, Corona offers a series of built-in presets that help you start quickly when creating materials. As you can see, each preset has a set of predefined parameters that will definitely guide you faster and more efficiently toward the result you are looking for. The big advantage behind this Corona fabric material is the power and the versatility it offers to achieve highly realistic, customizable and natural results.